Are you ready? Can Crush Us. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock them out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Got a shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody. Power driving, hit them with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break them, let's go. Yeah. Can Crushers. Yeah. Can Crushers, let's go.
And welcome back to another crushing podcast. Oh my God. I have nothing to drink. I've learned more about my cockles this week, and I'm now just stuttering because
I think you're just cold.
Exactly.
Hell has frozen over in bumfuck nowhere.
It has.
And, yeah.
Worst decision. By the way, I'm Mark Martinez, the Mark. That's Sir Michael Jenks. The idiots that are freezing in Can Crusher hell today. So I really love my Pergo flooring. Love it. Last winter we didn't get this frigidness. This is the first time, and we didn't go with like runners or any like carpet on the floor once you put Pergo down because you normally don't do that. You want to enjoy the Pergo. Holy God. To quote an old, crotchety old man, it's colder on my feet than a witch's tit. Because it is... I'm in a hood with my headphones over my hood. I have 2 pair of socks on. The heater's blasting, like just not even turning off. But the floor's not warming up. My feet are numb.
Oh my God.
So
I have a hood on, a stocky, skull cap. I have 3 layers. I'm supporting my team today that plays this afternoon for the playoffs, but good Lord almighty, it is freaking cold. I do, however, have my fleece line knockoff Crocs, so I'm enjoying those. And they're keeping my feet nice and toasty. Just to brag about that.
I think I need a pair of those.
I think you do too.
I'm not going to the Walmarts today, though.
Just hibernate today.
Yeah, I'm at the point that we're also supposed to get, a megalodon snow in our neck of the woods overnight.
Same.
And yeah.
We
also have, ruining the roadways, we have the megalodon load coming from, like, Watchapache or whatever, bringing something that's coming up your neck of the woods to be floated to, like, Uganda or something. Like a mega load is just going to slow Ridgeway down along with the 12 feet of snow we're supposed to get overnight because that's when it's going to be making its way through.
Oh, it's coming through tonight? Oh, good Lord.
Yep.
Yeah. That thing is not going to go anywhere.
Nowhere. Because it's in Ridgeway, like right now.
Oh my God.
You'll have to come down a hill, which you're going to slide through Ridgeway then. And then to go where it's going, it needs to go up the steepest steepness of steeps to get to the next part of 948. Yeah. Stupid.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have that there for about 3 weeks in the middle of the road.
Yeah. The garbage truck just meandering around it tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Shutting one section of our route off. I can't wait. This is going to be my first vacation day of 2022.
Inadvertently.
Yeah. Well, no. I'm calling it. I don't care if they have to find somebody off the streets. Between the cold, the snow, and the megalodon truck that's going to be in town, Ridgeway is going to be done. Thank God there's no school.
Oh yeah. Tomorrow everybody's off. So that was kind of good timing on the snows part because everybody's off up here, obviously, as well. But oh my God, Tuesday's going to be an absolute shit show when everybody goes back and is back on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Jenks, how was your week overall besides just frigid?
Pretty good. Just hanging out, working, going off the market, things of that nature.
Wait,
Nothing too
what?
Crazy.
You went off
the
the market?
I'm off the market now, Mark. I have a lovely girlfriend now.
Did you make it Facebook official? Because
We
you're
did
not
make
off the
it
market
FBO.
until.
We did make it FBO, so everybody knows we're advertising it.
Done.
So, done.
Your life's over. You guys want to go buy the coffins together, pick out the gravestones, and
I don't know
good.
if we're, I'm not sure we're there to the death part yet, but we're gonna go in the foreseeable future. We're at least together, so hopefully death does not come a part of that.
Are you gonna make it through Royal Rumble?
I'm hoping so.
Yeah,
we're gonna find out.
Good.
We should definitely make it through Rumble, maybe WrestleMania at least.
Maybe.
She's pretty special.
I love this girl. She's my girlfriend. We might make it to WrestleMania, which is 8 weeks away. We might. We don't know yet.
Listen, I will say this: she's a special girl.
To deal with you, she's got to be.
So she's got to put up with a lot of shit with me. So she grins and bears it, and then when she has to meet my family, that's just going to be the worst for her because we're just a bunch of asses. So it'll be fun.
Yeah. One, congratulations.
Thank you.
Two, our group has dealt with special women, and I mean this wholeheartedly because when I was going through my internship of 32 years old, my then girlfriend, now wife, dealt with a lot, continues to deal with. I was 32, now I'm 16, so I've lost years, and she's matured. So, good luck. Good luck to your girlfriend. Can't wait to meet her. She's in for a hell of a ride.
She is. If she's dealing with me, my family steps it up a notch. So it'll be interesting to see family and friends because when she meets Moochie,
she's done. You should probably wait to meet Moochie until after WrestleMania.
Nope. I think now we have to get it over with because I had to ask her from him if she believed in aliens. He's already given her nicknames. Then there's one question. I don't think she's going to listen to this podcast. I've told her about it, but there's one question I haven't asked her that I want him to ask her when they meet. And it's, do you believe that birds are government surveillance?
We touched on
equipment.
This. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just have to see this reaction. I don't know.
Good Lord. This poor girl.
I think if she gets through that.
But I guess it's good to rip just the Band-Aid off. Just boom.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, he's part of my life and he'll be there for probably ever now. So rip the Band-Aid off and expose her to the craziest one of the group. And we'll go from there.
Yeah. Good call.
So, yeah, that's been my week. What's your week been like?
Basketball. You can take basketball and Can Crusher interviews. Actually, that's why the cockles sound good. I learned from the guest that is 2 weeks away, essentially, for the spotlight. Chris Gazaway, who was on American Idol. He's also a professional wrestler. I learned during the interview what I need to do for the cockles after those late night karaoke. So hopefully Moochie listens to it as well.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah, by the way, that turns out to be a trash fire interview. He's amazing. He would slide right into our group and we wouldn't miss a beat, Jenks. I'll just tell you that.
Oh, yeah. That's fantastic.
Yeah. This week's, I'll spoil it, it's Ryan the Ref. He's in Indiana, and he has a very emotional story about battling back from a hell of an injury to just become a referee. So it's crazy. Crazy. This week it's emotional. You'll need your Kleenexes. Next week you'll need tons of alcohol to get through it. And we'll leave it at that.
I cannot wait to hear that.
Yeah.
Hear both of them.
Yeah,
That's
for
really
sure. So, Jenks, how about the news about me and you invited to Louisville and Philadelphia to partake in some Impact?
That is amazing news. That took me by surprise this week. I was not prepared for that to happen.
Well, that's what happens when you have people like Daniel Spencer in your back pocket.
That's fair. I was wondering how that came about. So,
OVW official, head OVW official Daniel Spencer, and official at Impact invited us. Then he also wanted to know why we didn't get our reaction, really, of Impact Hard to Kill. And I said, listen, I was drunk at a 70-year-old's retirement party last week. I'm lucky that I didn't retire last week. I said, we just skipped it to this week. He's like, well, there's something I want to know about. And I'm like, oh, okay, we'll talk about it. So, Jenks, let's talk about Hard to Kill a little bit, because we both essentially went back and watched some of it. We put bits and pieces together and watched it. I said it last week, man, I was so happy for Tasha Steelz, because I've been on her wagon since I saw her years ago at a Rise, RISE women's event down around Pittsburgh. I loved her, and she was tag team champion with Kiera Hogan, but I think she's always been put on that back burner. I thought it was going to be Chelsea's match to win for that, the X of it, not the X to be number one contender. I thought that sets up a perfect Chelsea Mickie James match. That's huge down the line.
Yeah.
Still putting Tasha kind of in the back burner, even though I love her. When she won, I was stoked. I'm like, yes, finally. And shout out to Pittsburgh native Lady Frost for doing a freaking moonsault about 50 feet in the air.
That was one of my notes. That was freaking amazing. Just watching her do that, I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, I like this match. I really did. I think this match has been a long time coming for the women, and I'm glad the TNA pulled the trigger on it, and the perfect people in for it too. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed what I watched of it. It was very well done. Unfortunately, I'm not as into Impact as I should be, but the way that they nearly killed each other just to put on a great showing, they had a phenomenal match. And I want to see more out of Tasha Steelz and see how this goes with her next match coming up for the world title. This was a phenomenal match. They did a great job.
Yeah, I would bet she's not going to cash in, or I'm wrong, because I didn't really watch the Impact tapings this week, because it's hard when you don't get the channel. You have to duck, dive, dodge, duck, weave,
dip,
to find Impact on certain ways. So I'm always a week behind unless it's a pay-per-view. So I don't know what happened on this week's show, but we'll get there. I'm sure.
Yeah.
The Gresham and Sabin match, again, Jonathan Gresham has been through ICW a few times, was a super indie champion there. Him and Alexander has had huge matches in IWC. Him and Cole had an amazing match. We just knew Jonathan Gresham, and if you never watched ROH, because it's sometimes harder to find than Impact, which is unbelievable, and this was the first time that you saw Jonathan Gresham, Jenks, I'm not saying this just to you, but I'm saying it to the masses. Get the hell out of your mom's basement and the rock that you're underneath in your mom's basement, because besides, get ready, I'll get hate, because a lot of people think he's better than, besides Bryan Danielson, I think Jonathan Gresham is the purest wrestler out there right now.
I'll buy that, because that was absolutely a great showing by him. I had seen some clips and highlights from him over the years in that, but I've never sat down and watched a pure match until the Saban one. Dude, I was taken back by some of the things that he did, especially the combo to win it, the pin combo to win it. I was looking like I was in shock. My jaw was on the floor when I saw that. So I have to step it up. Mark, I got to fully admit this. I got to step it up because there is a lot of great talent out there that I haven't seen, and I feel embarrassed by that. So I agree. You got to get your head out of just got to get out of your mom's basement and get out from underneath that rock and not sleep on anything that some of this talent in ROH is doing, even though they're on hiatus now. But although it looks like they've basically invaded Impact.
Great twist, because are they actually on hiatus? Maybe the
I don't know
promotion
now.
is, but the wrestlers aren't.
No. So they're doing wonderful things in Impact now, it seems like, which is great for Impact because they now, even Gresham, I mean, good Lord, they might have a must-see product coming up here with Impact going forward.
Well, that was my thing actually to talk about, to get to, and we'll dive into the other matches here in a minute. Impact is set to blow the freaking roof off, working with, as much as they are working with WWE. I still say there's a partnership a little bit with AEW. This whole forbidden doors open across the world now. The downfall is, and I've mentioned it just minutes ago, Impact is on a channel that you need to stand on the top of your roof, beg for service, hope that the dish comes in and it's not windy out that time. You know, it just needs to... Why not slide over to a better channel? I know it's not that easy, but get into some works about getting on a channel that's on 95% of the people in America compared to 37% of America. Because you got the people that are dragging me over. I mean, that's where I see Chelsea most of the time. And for God's sake, she signed my arm and I tattooed it. So I'm a little bit invested in Chelsea Green, I think.
Yeah. Well, I agree with that. And hopefully maybe this whole influx of talent and what they're starting to do at Impact is going to get them on that better network. Because I know when there was that down period in the quality of the work, that's when they start shifting into the lesser known and lesser had channels to where they are now. Now they're building themselves back up and they have a bed of talent. And honestly, the WWE releases have really benefited Impact, and they're putting on a phenomenal showing. I'm not saying that was the sole reason, but they're really building a great product around some of these people to get them to that next level.
In that one, because I've always been a Josh Alexander fan.
Oh my God.
Jonah, aka Bronson Reed, if you didn't know him.
Yeah.
If you wanted to see an Andre the Giant Big John Studd match from the 80s now in 2022, this was it. This was two big behemoths going at it. And I'm glad Josh won. I know Josh has been around. He didn't need the victory. It probably would have helped Jonah a little bit more, but it's Josh Alexander.
Yeah. Jonah, I think, will do phenomenal things going forward. So I don't think this loss hurt anybody, because these are two super talented people that I think will meet again at some point. This was way too good of a match to just put on the back burner and say, oh, we'll see you later. We're not going to touch this again. So we might be seeing a series coming here. And that was a great win by Josh Alexander. And I want more. And Jonah just reminds me of Bam Bam.
Yes, thank you.
Somebody
finally says it.
So I thought this in NXT as Bronson Reed, and seeing that match with Josh, he just reminds me of freaking Bam Bam, and I love it. He does it perfectly, and I hope he becomes Jonah. He just becomes Jonah, but right now he reminds me of Bam Bam, and it's setting him up for great success going forward.
Yeah. Trey Miguel keeps the X Division Championship. I didn't see all of this whatsoever. I'm not even going to pretend to say, I watched some highlights here, watched some highlights there. This is the one match I didn't deep dive into and find anything for it. I just know he kept the title, so yeah.
From what I saw of that, it was actually a very good match. I did enjoy it. Steve Macklin, I think he was in WWE as the Forgotten Sons at one point.
Riker.
If I'm right. Yeah, he was. Yeah. That it looked like a great match, and it just looked like a very hard hitting affair. And I thought they did excellently on that. They didn't miss anything. There was no missed strokes. It was perfectly done. And just to correct me, Mark, if I'm wrong, Trey Miguel was part of MSK or whatever MSK was originally in Impact. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Or is that somebody else? Okay. All right. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So, but they did a phenomenal job there. That was great.
Yeah. And then we get to the kind of 3 big matches on the night. Not that some of these other ones weren't big. You have essentially what are we going to call it? They called it a hardcore war, but it's, you said it best. It was a War Games without the cage, essentially.
Yeah. Time intervals for people coming in and joining the match. That was it. It was a hardcore match that was War Games. I guess I didn't have the history around it, but I mean, they had a lot of cool spots during it, as you should in a hardcore match, I think. What did you think of it, though, Mark?
Let's go to the next one, because we kind of, these 3, that's why I've even saved them talking about in the same way, because to me, they're kind of all the same match. And I'm not poo-pooing on them, but you get Cardona against Moose, against Morrissey, and there's spots all over the place for this as well, including our number 1 fan of Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast, Daniel Spencer, getting fucking speared until June of this year.
He got annihilated.
Which was amazing, by the way.
It was.
Now that we've said yes, and we've got kind of like tickets in hand for Impact, and we got the rights to go and everything, now we can completely shit on Daniel Spencer and say, good for you. You deserved it. You know better. You're a schmuck.
That's what you get. Karma gets you some way or another.
Yeah. Get the hell out of the way. He's fine. He's fine, just to let everybody know. But, again, I was actually shocked, though, on this to see Moose retain. I thought it might have been time to pull the trigger on Cardona.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised they haven't yet. And maybe he's only there to put over the younger talent or put over the other talent. But I feel like Cardona's built up so much. It's got to be coming.
Yeah.
I don't see them not putting the title on him at some point. I think he's defeating Moose for it, but when is going to be the question.
Maybe when we're there.
Maybe
we'll be involved in the match. Because Chelsea loves us. So,
that's true.
Yeah. And then we get Mickie James in a death match. She wins, she retains. And Jenks, let's start here and go backwards. I've never seen a death match where you have to get a 3 count and then the 10 count. That kind of took away from it a little bit. I know there was a couple 3 counts in the match, and then they got up by 10, but I'm just like, it should just be the 10 count. I don't know, because to a wrestling fan, you hear 1, 2, 3, that's the match, right? That's in your mind, you're embedded, well, they won. And Deanna put on a great show, don't get me wrong, but it was kind of already announced that Mickie James was going to be in the Rumble as champion, so this was kind of ruined for me a little bit.
Well, it took the buzz out of the match because if she's coming in as the Impact champion, they're not going to take the title off of her. I mean, there's just no reason for that. To go back on your comments before, I'm fairly certain I've seen a long-lost Cactus Jack death match that you had to get a 3 count and then the 10 count. I'd have to find the DVD because it was on a DVD somewhere. So I've seen that before. But to your point, it kind of killed the air around it. They put on a phenomenal show, don't get me wrong. But when you announce that the Impact champion is going to the Rumble match or going anywhere else to be there, you're not going to necessarily take the title off of them. That just wouldn't make any sense. That's not good for business because you're advertising your title at that point.
Right. Exactly.
But what this is going more into the Royal Rumble. What I hope doesn't happen is they let Mickey come in and then she's immediately thrown out or out within a minute and a half.
Oh, don't worry. We got a lot of Rumble to talk about.
Yeah.
We got a lot, so I won't even chime in on that. You can bring that, invent the wheel when we talk about that again if you want to.
That's fine. But that was my comment. I mean, to your point, it kind of took it out of there because we knew Deonna was not going to get the title back at that point. Although
Right.
props to her, she did get the ROH title.
Yeah, I did see that. She defeated Roxy during the taping, so now Deonna is the AAA Women's Champion and now the ROH Champion as well. So 2 belts. Deonna? Double Deonna?
Double belt Deonna? I don't know.
Because there's nothing working with a P, for me at least.
Yeah, I don't got anything. I think double belts Deonna.
Works.
But props to her because those are still prestigious titles in their own right.
They
So
are. Yeah.
that is nothing to be embarrassed by or even shake a head at. That is fantastic for her.
My big thing to talk about with all 3 of these matches, and I know they're your marquee matches essentially, is I said the War Games match or the Hardcore War or whatever the hell they called it, I think it should have started the show. Not taking away from the women whatsoever, because they had every weapon that you've ever seen in professional wrestling in that match. And then it's right before all the other matches, the championship match, who Mickey and Deonna are trying the same thing. We just legitimately, and I have a bitch about AEW kind of doing the same thing this week. They essentially had the same match. Sometimes you get tired of weapons. Make us forget in that 2-hour span that hardcore War Games match happened by throwing it on first, then have a pure match, then go to the X-Women's match for the women, then go to Alexander, break it up between the matches. They just had 3 matches in a row that people were legitimately trying to kill each other with everything and the kitchen sink.
Yeah, and to that point, you almost get burned out from it through match 2, and that's not what you want out of it. I agree. If you would have I think that Hardcore War kicking off the night would have been perfect because it would have started the night off with a bang. Then you could have level set. I'm thinking even with the ROH title match with Sabin and that.
Yeah.
And then go forward. And I love where you were going with that. I hate to say that it would burn people out, but even though they had phenomenal talent in those matches, it just happens. Because you can only take so much in a row before you're like, oh my God, now what? And it kind of peters away. You can't get more creative at that point. And that's the thing with like ladder matches and all that. You have to walk away from it for 8-9 months in between them because you don't want to put them too close together because you've already seen some of the spots.
Yeah, you can't see Shelton Benjamin running up 6 ladders back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, every month or anything like that. You have to do that. You have to split it up. So I'm not sure why they did the match order way they did the match order. Everybody still performed and busted their asses without a doubt. So props to them for that. I just wish, like you were saying, I just wish they would have organized it a little bit better, put it in a different order.
Yeah, and that's really my only negative thing to say about it. Just throw your matches a different way. Impact is legitimately on the rise. I think more and more podcasts or even just marks and fans would be talking about it more if it wasn't so hard to find, because the talent, I wasn't a huge Big Cass fan, but fuck do I love William Morrissey.
So do I. Throwing dives?
Yeah.
Shit. Where was this at? Give me this guy over Big Cass or Big Ass every fucking week.
Yeah.
But that's the one frustrating thing about WWE, and we've harped on it, so I'm not going to harp on it any more than this. We find out how talented.
Yeah, we will. We didn't even talk about the Rumble yet.
But after, I'm not going to harp on it as much here. But we find out how talented an individual actually is when they leave the company.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make bold statements like Morrissey becoming a world champion, whether it's in WWE or anything like that. It actually enforces them because he's a great talent, but we never saw it in WWE.
No, because he had to be that comic relief with Enzo.
Exactly. And when he wasn't the comic relief with Enzo, they just made him a big guy that throws boots.
Yeah.
And nobody wants that.
A Matt Morgan.
Yeah, exactly. They made him a Matt Morgan, and that's not what people wanted. Let people be themselves, and they're going to do great things, and it's going to boost your product. Again, WWE's entertainment, so now we're seeing the true wrestling side of what Morrissey can be and have his personality come out. It's beautiful to see. It's beautiful to see these people develop the way they are.
Agreed. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back because I'm biting at the bit. We're going to save AEW for the third segment, which doesn't happen a lot on here. It really doesn't. But we're both biting at the bit to talk about Rumble and the unforsaken doors that are open and closed and people just teasing stuff. And, of course, it's all wrapped in, and it started with Mickie James being announced in the Rumble. So that's probably where we're going to start, Jenks, and then this dive into the rest of wrestling as well. But you know what we have to talk about? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I love it because you put out a teaser about some surprise you were talking about on the interweb here.
Yeah.
On Facebook. Now I'm like I've been interested since you posted that.
Yeah.
So I want to see where this theory is coming at.
This theory is going to be epic. It really is.
Okay.
It's going to smell like a rose, hopefully, when we get out of it. Not Adam Rose either.
Boom.
Boom. Collar and elbow hats, hoodies, tees, sweats. Hopefully they have fleece-lined Crocs as well, because apparently Louisville's a little bit cold right now too, but not as cold as the witch's tit that it is in this house. Use Can Crushers, all one word, capital C and Can, capital C and Crushers. You save 10% for all the cool swag that Al Snow and his homeboys have down there at Collar and Elbow. Don't forget to head over to our website, CanCrushers69 /Wixsite.com/CanCrushers. Get some of our cool merch. Jenks is drinking from a stainless steel coffee cup. I am too.
Mm-hmm. Hot coffee too.
Hot coffee. Scalding hot coffee. I'm just making it and pouring it on my toes, actually. Leggings, which mine hopefully are coming in because I need them for work. And other cool things that we have to come as well. All right, so here comes Al Snow, and then when we come back, we'll talk about that tease right off the bat that I brought up on the old interweb.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
Hello, Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. This is referee Ryan out of Indiana Powerhouse Wrestling. You're listening to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast, the best podcast that could ever be shown on Spotify.
And welcome back to Can Crusher Us after an elongated break that should only take 15 seconds. Jenks, things are just going awry over here. I don't know what the hell is up.
First day on the fucking job or what? I mean, what is happening?
It took me literally 3 minutes to put in what? Usually when it takes 15 seconds to put the ads in and stuff. I don't know. The cold, man.
Yeah, it fucks with the man. That's all it is.
It does.
Fucks with a man.
Sucks with the man. Jenks brought up during the commercial break as well. Like, things are rocking and rolling here. Like, I'm not even touching the table, and I know my microphones are, unless the ghost of Christmas past is in the house because he's cold too. I don't know.
I don't know. I was concerned it was me, so I'd been trying to stay as still as possible. And then I realized it wasn't me, and I'm like, what the hell is happening over there? Maybe your floors have just contracted. Everything is just frozen and contracted over there. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's literally single digits here. Single meaning negative. Could you go someplace like Madison, Wisconsin, or where it is like negative 60 out and just like go fishing that day?
When it's negative 60 out?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Now, if it was summertime, maybe, but not.
Well, it's
negative
60 in the summer. You find me a place where it's negative 60 in the summer. You sound stupider than I do right now.
First of all, when it's summer here, I believe it's winter elsewhere in the world, so that would work out. What about Antarctica?
They don't have anything but winter. I hate your face.
But
right
did
now.
I prove? Did I prove your point wrong though?
Well,
Probably not, but I think so.
No, you sure did. Yeah, you win. I hate you.
Yeah, I just proved myself that I'm stupid. That's fine.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. All right. Jenks, so I did put this on the interweb, but before we start bashing each other and our ideas for the Royal Rumble and what's coming up for the WWE, my thoughts are Can Crusher Nation should play a game involving the Women's Royal Rumble. How about this? Are you in?
Yeah.
You don't even know the game yet.
I don't know the game, but I'm in.
All right.
I'm sold.
So I'm going to, folks, let me just break it down for you. Break it down. Thank you. You at least got it. All right. $5 a spot, 30 spots up there, and then I will go live and show the number that you get. So let's use the other people at the 40-year dash, which you have not mentioned yet today, but we'll use them as Cody and Moochie, myself, you, and the English professor. There's 5 of the 30. Are they all getting in? I doubt it, but nonetheless. All right, so everybody pays $5 to get into this, okay? You will win something sweet ass. It is in my possession, and you'll see it probably in the next couple days posted on there if I get a lot of love from this. So everybody pays $5. They get in this Women's Royal Rumble competition. I get online, I do a spinner that, all right, Jenks paid his $5. He's going to roll in with number 19. So whoever number 19 is, if she wins the Royal Rumble, you win the metallic Mandy Rose signed picture that is in my possession. Are you in for that?
That sounds like a fantastic prize. I'll bite. I'll be in. I definitely will be.
$5 and you have a chance to win an authentic Mandy Rose signed metallic picture. And your numbers are given to you at random. Because essentially, let's just play this out. I will be the bearer of bad news. Do you want number 1 in this year's Royal Rumble for the women? No. But I also will not do this until everyone is paid. So if people end up paying and then there's one Jagalone that doesn't pay, everybody's going to get refunded because asshole number 1 got asshole number 1 spot and he's not happy about it. It's the fairest way. I can't have Moochie coming in saying, I want number 30. Oh, no shit. Everybody wants number 30.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to pick number 1. So we have to do the Spinneroonie thing and go live on the Facebook page so everybody watches, everybody gets their numbers. And, of course, I'll have, like, the wife or the kid right beside me writing these down in order. And then, boom, Bailey comes out at number 20, not your dog. That would be awesome.
Oh, she would tear it up.
Yeah. And Cody has Bailey, and Bailey ends up winning. Cody wins. So it's the fairest way. All you have to do, if when I put the post up, you want it, all you have to do is essentially PayPal Can Crushers $5. You're in, and you have a chance to win a Mandy Rose autograph, which is essentially, I've seen anywhere online from $50 to like $200 hairs. That's how much it's worth. I'm not a JSA guy that searches things, so I don't know. I just think, it's a great piece to give away during the Women's Royal Rumble.
I like the idea a lot, Mark. Now, let me ask you this to get some rules out there. Are you doing just one entry per person? Nobody can buy like 2-3 slots? Or what are you thinking about that?
I think it should just be one entry per person. Essentially the rules of the Royal Rumble is you should only be entered once, so everybody should only be entered once. It's 30 people, guys. We know 30 wrestling. I know 30 wrestling people myself. Let's just for $5.
You do?
I do. I do. I don't. Yeah, I know. $5, Mandy Rose. It's. I would think it's worth it.
I agree. It sounds like a fun game. I can't wait to see this. Let's get in there, guys.
Yeah.
Let's get the signups.
Get the signups. Like I said, if you're interested, let's do everything over Facebook. So drop me a message on the old Can Crusher page if you're interested. I'd love to see this where it shakes out. We have a couple weeks, so that's why I'm throwing it out there now. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm just going to burn the Mandy Rose and everybody will go fuck themselves.
Fair enough. Do you have a cutoff for getting everybody in by?
Yeah. I don't know. The date that is posted on the old Facebook, because it should. Listen, it's early morning Sunday. We haven't really talked about this. I would like everybody to be in and paid by the 27th, which is the Thursday prior to the Rumble. That makes perfect sense. So Friday I can roll out and say, here we go, we're doing the picks for tomorrow night.
There you go.
And then it's your responsibility to watch your pick. I will have them written down. And if you're not available that Friday and, say Bob Smith is number 22 and 22 wins, then I will reach out to Bob Smith and say, okay, Bob Smith, you did win. But I'm not going to reach out to each and every one of you and say, Bob Smith, you're 22. Dan Mucci, you're 1. Cody, you're 2. I'm not, but just watch it live when we do the Spinneroonie and you'll know your number.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Makes total sense.
And I'm not going to be in it. So you're good to go from there. How about that? Catch you outside.
Not today.
Not today, though. Maybe in June. All right, Jenks. We're talking about the Rumble. Last Friday, Mickie James ruined everybody's idea because the more and more this week have come out, the Bellas were shocked that they were announced. Summer Rae was announced that she was shocked that she was announced. Like, everybody was shocked that WWE just like, hey, you guys are in the Rumble. Like, clearly they had talks, but they all thought they were going to be surprises.
Right.
Is that stupid on them? WWE, I mean.
I think it's stupid on them. Like I said last week, I think Mickie James should have been in the Rumble. It should have been announced at the Rumble. Like, it should have been a very big surprise at the Rumble with a lot of these women. I'm just wondering if they feel like they have so many returning superstars, because there's a lot of people that were injured, out on maternity leave, things of that nature, coming back, that they figured they can hold the way with the surprises, is my thought on it. I just can't see that there's any other big surprises that are left now that they did this. I think like Mickie James, I don't know about Summer Rae, but Mickie James and the Bellas, that would have been major surprises in the Rumble match themselves. So that was the disappointment there. But
Lita for me again.
Lita. Oh yeah, Lita too, and she was even on SmackDown this past week. Lita was another one. So maybe they're still going to have Trish in their back pocket come out. I don't know. It was a little disappointing. It feels like they're resting the surprises on those that were out with injury and on maternity leave.
Yeah.
It just feels that way.
I still feel at least 2 or 3 of those are going to be back. It is confirmed Sasha will not be in the Rumble. Be in the Rumble. But you have Lacey, you have Asuka. Does Alexa get her shit together in therapy to make an entrance? Bayley return at the Rumble. So yeah. Do they pull up anybody from NXT? I don't know this year.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, I could see him have Mandy come out and be a part of it. Maybe the rest of Toxic Attraction involved in it, but
Raquel would be my guess.
Raquel, you know what? That would be a good one. That would be a good way to debut her to the main roster, even if they don't bring her up officially until after Mania. But yeah, that could be it. But that's really only it. Maybe Io. Could be Io.
Yeah.
Io's time to come up too.
Yeah. I don't know. The Royal Rumble for me is always about surprises. I just hope they don't start giving the numbers away when people are going to start coming out, because then that takes away the Rumble for me.
Yeah.
But all right, let's talk about this Mickie James thing, and we'll probably go more in depth a little bit next week with our predictions as well, who we actually think is going to win. But let's talk. Are we going to get Mickie and Charlotte, I mean? Because essentially that means one of them wins. And I don't have either one of them winning, Jenks.
Neither do I. I feel like they're going to have a square off in the match. And I feel like Charlotte's going to eliminate Mickie. Spoilers on that prediction. But I don't think it's going to be the winner of the match. I don't think it's a final showdown between the two. I don't think WWE would put that much respect on Impact's title, to be honest. I'll just flat out say that.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a square off during the match, or Charlotte's in the ring and Mickie comes out and they square off that way. I just don't see I don't see playing past that. I don't see them both being in the final 2 and one of them's going to win. Because like you, I'm not picking Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte's title's not on the line, folks, first of all. She is just in this match saying that she wants to pick who she wants to face at WrestleMania. Yeah. I think Jenks and I, without getting in our predictions next week, are on the same board of who's going to win this. And so it doesn't mean that Mickie James may not be at WrestleMania against Charlotte. Not as a main event match, but it might be there, is what I'm saying. Yeah. Depending on what happens over the next couple weeks with Mickie and Tasha and other things rattling out in Impact. But I don't see that being the main event because of what you just said. There's no way in hell Vince is going to allow Charlotte and Mickie from another company be the main event of the pay-per-view that started pay-per-views. Not happening, because then you aren't getting the crossover, yes, but Vince doesn't like sharing spotlight, and that's the biggest spotlight of the year. Love or hate what WWE is doing, that's the biggest spotlight of the year.
Yeah, and if that happened, Mark, does that change your feeling of WWE a little bit? If it happened, if Vince said, let's say they put Mickie over in this match, and they let her, it's the main event, night 1, it's Charlotte, Mickie, Impact World Champion versus WWE World Champion. Does that change the perception of WWE for you? Does it make it seem like it's starting to steer back into the realm of wrestling, not sports entertainment, but going back into that wrestling realm?
No. Because to me, I'm just stuck with Vince partnering with somebody, because he doesn't partner with people. To me, it might almost be, there's a hell of a lot of old school WWE people within the last year, old school meaning, is Impact staying afloat? I'm looking at maybe this is a way for Vince to buy more and sell higher by the end of the year to somebody else is where this. When I saw a partnership with AEW and Impact, I saw a legit like wrestling partnership. Like they're both not the hugest of ratings. They're still working together. I saw that as a true partnership. Vince is trying to one up anybody. He's partnered with ECW, put him out of business. He's done some other things, put him out of business and bought him. This is Vince trying to get more people that he's had, and it's like, shit, maybe I really dropped the ball on Morrissey. Or Bronson Reed looks amazing now. Or Cardona. And, you know, I'm thinking that way, that maybe Vince is just trying to scoop up more talent to release. Again, I don't know. I don't know what's in Vince's mind sometimes.
Well, you bring up an interesting point. So if this, let's go back. So they've advertised Mickey for the Rumble. What's that going to do? It's going to, even if they don't have it, people are going to start looking into the Impact product more and more to understand who's there, why, where did Mickey get the title, all of that stuff. It starts drawing interest to Impact. So if he's selling assets to purchase Impact and purchase the company and just do whatever he wants with them, he's also, to your point, increasing the value of his company by saying, listen, we just acquired this company that's on the rise. It's starting to build itself back up, reestablish itself as one of the, I don't want to say premier, but one of the wrestling organizations out there that are on the rise, and they're doing great things here. We just bought it. Give me your price tag now, because I just brought in all of this talent from this organization. Is that what the ultimate goal was? Because you're right, because he previews the talent. He previewed ECW talent on WWE programming before. It built up ECW to a solid foundation, and then he eventually bought them. Yes, things went downhill quickly there. There was other circumstances, but he built up that product by putting those people on his show. WCW, whether you think they didn't really have a partnership, but his talent went to WCW to make them a competition for WWE, then they eventually bought WCW. Vince could have been playing the long game, and you have to clear out space to acquire a larger company and their full roster talent. Maybe that's the game Vince was playing all along.
A lot goes into the archives as well, because who doesn't want to watch AJ Styles' first TNA match, or all when it was a 6-sided ring and stuff. I know they have their own, vault of wrestling that you can subscribe to, but all right, Vince is going to give them $1 kajillion and the rights of everything else, and now, it's now available on Peacock in the next 6 months. That's views again, and Vince and Peacock rolling in the dough.
Exactly. And how much talent is there or has been there? You get, like you said, all of AJ's Styles matches and collections. You get Samoa Joe's, even though he's not there anymore, you know who Samoa Joe is. So if you watch AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and Christopher Daniels triple threat match, you're going to go look at Samoa Joe stuff. Then you're going to see he faced Kurt Angle, even though you could probably see that with Styles as well. Then you're going to look at Kurt Angle stuff. You go down the rabbit hole. It's an endless possibility for people. It's smart. More people are going to it would bring ratings back up for Peacock, subscriptions back up for Peacock, because I'm sure there's been a lot of frustrated fans that have canceled Peacock over the past year since they moved to it, just because of different things that have happened.
Right.
But people will buy that back up to see that entire collection again.
Yeah. And there's some great, and then there's even the horrible matches, if you've never seen them on TNA, where Bully Ray essentially is making out with a fish in a street fight match. You got to watch it. You got to see. You have to see where the X Division matches have come from. You have to see the horrible X Division. I know some of these are on YouTube, but you get it. You don't get it choppy as well. You get like the live stream. You get Homicide stuck at the top of that cage, and you're like, "Holy fuck! Is this guy going to die, or is he going to actually be able to climb up over?" That's all going to be part of it.
Hey, I mean, if you're not looking forward to seeing Shark Boy and Curry Man go at it, then I don't know what you're doing.
Right? Yeah, too hot, too spicy,
too hot, too spicy.
Yeah, poor Danielson.
Oh my god. And now I'm thinking of Stone Cold Shark Boy. He came out like Stone Cold. I've gone down a rabbit hole now. I want to watch this again.
This is a rabbit hole. This is wrestling.
It is.
On a cold ass day in parts unknown, what are you going to do? Your game, you're going to pause to watch your football game later on. I don't have anything to do till 8 o'clock tonight to watch the Steelers get. Oh, let's not talk about that. But Juju's back, though. Apparently his shoulder healed up overnight. So he's off of the IR. I don't know, whatever. All right, let's talk about WWE this week because we kind of just scatterbrained it. Raw, Jenks, what did you get from Raw? Besides the Hurt Business, it is not the Hurt Business anymore yet again.
I don't even know why they came back together. I don't even know why they attacked. I get that he told them to stay in the back, but I don't know why they attacked. Lesnar and Lashley is going to be everything we want and more, I feel like.
By the way,
good.
Comic Relief Lesnar had me rolling yesterday when I watched this.
It was fantastic, wasn't it?
Knock, knock. Bob who? Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I wonder if he went off kilter with that because Heyman sold it well. Like, he's like, oh, Brock Lesnar telling jokes in Philadelphia. Who the hell would have thought that?
Yeah. Well, this is perfect. This is the Lesnar we want. We wanted a personality out of Lesnar for the longest time. And now we fucking got it with Viking Lesnar. And I love it. You know what? He said it. He called him a Brock Lesnar wannabe. And it was exactly what everybody had thought. I think, what was it, 10, 15 years ago?
20 years.
Whatever it was.
They made us know that because they said 20 years three times.
3 times, yeah. But, you know, that addresses the elephant in the room. And then you got Brock just kind of joking it off. How disrespectful is that? And how now does it make me want to see Lashley beat Brock? No, but it's going to make me want to watch that match because Lashley is going to do everything in his power to hurt him. It's exactly 2 Mack trucks running into each other, and it's just going to be an ugly brawl in such a good way. They're going to put on a great big man fight. But
yeah, this isn't going to be a 5-star match.
This is not. It's just going to be an ugly brawl, and it's going to be demolition match type thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
We have new tag team champions.
How did you feel about that?
Besides, I said Randy takes the pin and Alpha Academy are the new champs. Here's my true note. I wrote poor Tucker. Just he never got to be.
He didn't.
Tucky. Yeah.
Tucky.
I don't want to say that I'm liking Otis any more than I liked Otis as, I don't know, the milkman or whatever he was. He's better bad. I'll just leave it at that. He's better as a heel than him being Santino Marella's bigger brother. I still can't fucking stand him, though. Well,
here's what I'll say. Chad Gable is underrated in the aspect of he brings the absolute best out of people.
Touche.
Because if you would have told me Chad Gable and Otis were going to win the tag titles and it was going to look kind of legitimate, I would have laughed in your face. Chad Gable is a phenomenal talent and is underrated, and he has built up Otis, even though they built it around his neck being too strong. But he has done things in the company to elevate those he's worked with. Jason Jordan was an example of that. You know, we talk Otis. Chad Gable just brings it. And even if he doesn't make it out of that tag team spectrum in his career, which would be an absolute shame. And to this day, I still say he should have been Angle's illegitimate son.
I agree.
Chad Gable has done things and has improved so many people around him. So I think he's under in that aspect. And to see him win the tag titles, I was happy for Chad Gable. Whether I don't mind Otis, but I was happy to see Chad Gable get the tag titles off of Orton and RK Bro.
Do you think Orton taking the pin was smart, or I'll throw it out there, I thought Riddle should have taken the pin, because when it comes down to it and they have their feud, Randy is going to be the son of a bitch in this, because Riddle's way too over. I don't see how you turn Riddle. And, creative can work their magic once in a while, but Riddle's just way too over with his dumbness.
Yeah.
I think it would have been better to have Riddle take the pin and then more controversy out of Randy's mouth, which then starts the feud.
Yeah, and I think where this could go is Randy's going to start blaming Riddle for not being in the match. He is now the I can't remember what they're calling him for MSK now in NXT, but he is now their guy. He's leading them. He's guiding them. So his head's now he can start playing this. His head's not fully in the tag team type angle. And I think that's where we're going to probably see this Randy feud coming out, and where Randy's going to eventually snap. Riddle's going to be playing up with MSK and being their guide, their spiritual guide. And I think that hopefully that's how they're going to tie everything together. And I think that's where you see the dissension fall in the ranks, and you see Orton step out and just completely obliterate Riddle.
I'm glad you brought this up, because to have Riddle hanging out in NXT right now, and then essentially we're dropping one of the biggest stars in wrestling down to NXT. And I know everybody's going to say it's to get Grayson the Stroke, or, to build up people. Isn't it early in the whole NXT 2.0 to be dropping down megastars like AJ Styles and Riddle to get ratings again? Because first and foremost, that's number one, to get ratings, to get money, to get this, that, and the other thing. You can build up Grayson a different way. I just think now Vince is squirming a little bit, because full-fledged, I have not watched a whole NXT 2.0 since NXT 2.0 started.
Same.
How many people are in our same boat?
Yeah, that's a fantastic point. And I kind of liken it back. They need to build the foundation of their current superstars without them sacrificing things. Build your foundation first.
Yep.
And then you could start building off of the former NXT talent, which they did, I guess, with War Games. They use that to catapult people above the old guard. I think back to the Black and Gold NXT, where you had Cesaro drop down. You had Ric Flair, you had Bret Hart in corners of Charlotte, and Natty, and you had different things of that nature. You had those stars join, but it was after NXT had already built that level of foundation and had elevated their own stars within the brand. And then that took it to the next level. I think they're jumping a step here. Because, yes, you beat the old guard of NXT Black and Gold. Great. Build it within yourself, and then in a year or so, start bringing down the AJs. Start bringing down, like the Riddle one, I get that. If they don't have Riddle wrestle, but they just have him teach the ways to MSK, I would be okay with that, because that makes sense. But,
yeah,
I mean, because it's only an advisor role, right?
But he's still on TV. It doesn't matter if he's wrestling or scrubbing the toilets. He's on NXT. You're going to tune in to see what Riddle's going to tell them if you're engulfed into that storyline.
That's fair. But I think, to your point, you build it up small, build your foundation, have the rivalries within your own brand, get the word of mouth going, and then to take it to that next level, you use those upper middle card guys, those legend guys, to just catapult it. Even if they're only standing being managers, if they're even being Riddle, whatever it is, You use that as your next stepping stone, and then you build upon that to build your stars even further. You get more talent, and it goes up and up and up. That's where Black and Gold hit its stride. And that's when, around end of 2014, it just took off. And it became must-watch. Even before that, it became must-watch. But 2014 is where it really took off, and people started paying attention because it did that slow progression to build itself up.
Yep.
And then it knew how to use those extra talents coming down from the main roster, those legendary talents at that point.
Agreed. Agreed 100%. Jenks, did you see as soon as they stepped into the ring the downfall of Nikki and Rhea? I did.
Yeah.
I
saw it a couple months ago.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I essentially meant who was going to be the heel and who was going to be the good person, or trying to be the good person out of this. First words out of Nikki's mouth, whatever she said, and I'm like, wow, she's going to be the bad one in this whole storyline.
Yeah. Yeah, and now we're going to get a whole couple weeks of you live long enough to see yourself as the hero, you become the villain type thing. Quote Batman, because I just can't believe I can't believe that they went Nikki, because they always do. Like, the one that's unlikely to turn, that's the one they turn.
Right.
So I'm going to go back actually a little bit and take off of that. Don't be surprised if Riddle turns on Randy. I could see it now, but we won't go back there. Nikki turning on Rhea, I guess makes sense, but I just don't see Nikki carrying heel heat or anything of that nature for a long period of time.
No. I don't either.
If it was Rhea turning on Nikki, 100%. Rhea could carry that, and I think that would be a good feud to kick off her heel run, because she defeats the superhero, obviously. But that would be a good starting point. But this whole Nikki thing, I guess we have to watch to find out how it's going to develop. But I just don't see her being that over the top, that heel that they're wanting her to be.
The next segment of Raw had me completely pissed off. They wasted 3 or 4 good cheesesteaks during the 24/7 garbage. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, I cried a little bit when I saw that. It just hurt. That's a big man, that hurt.
It did hurt. I'll throw the rest out quickly and then just chat. We talked about AJ dropping down with Grayson, and he essentially lost to Austin. Alexa, the therapist, I don't know where this is going. I was kind of big time Bex. It's a 3-way match between Liv, Bianca, and Doudrop. Doudrop's getting her one and done.
Yeah.
So we'll be okay with that. Anything you pulled from that?
I'm if Doudrop wrestles like Piper Niven, it's going to be a good match. So I kind of want to see where this goes. I do want to see that match. Man, there really wasn't much to pull from anything.
No.
To be honest.
There wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, hey, we're getting Edge and Beth won a war of words. I mean, that's great, but just wasn't anything to pull from what was going on.
I thought that was a little bit too long. The whole Miz, Edge, Maurice, Beth thing.
Yeah, it took a bit. I'm wondering just to switch gears a little bit with the Alexa, to go off of the Alexa thing, I'm wondering if this is their way of getting her back to the goddess bliss. And maybe they're trying to get her to go through therapy sessions to break through the Bray mind wash type thing to get her back to goddess bliss status. If so, I would be impressed by WWE for doing that. Because I feel like they would have taken the easy way out before and just said, okay, you're back to being the goddess now because you took a hiatus. And that's it. I'm wondering if they're using the therapy sessions to tell the story to get her back to that goddess bliss, what she was before the whole Bray Wyatt scenario.
So then essentially, because I don't know if I see Bliss in the Rumble because of this. She's in therapy right now. She was MIA, but now she's in therapy. not knowing what's going on, how do you get her ready to be in a Rumble match then? So I think essentially with the, and I don't mean talent-wise, but with the lack of numbers that you just brought in 10 people from legendary status, you're not going to have Bliss in this now that she's healthy, essentially, but not storyline healthy. It doesn't make sense to put her in the Rumble when she's going through this, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we're not going to see her wrestle possibly until Mania. It's going to take a while to get through this shenanigan shit that they got going on.
Well, it would if it wasn't WWE, but I could also see him have it done next week.
Two therapies? Oh, holy shit. I need to go to that therapist then, because if he's solving people that fast.
Should I introduce you to Team Hell No?
They sat through several therapies.
It was several, but Dr. Shelby did some miracle working there.
He did.
But maybe she does wrestle in the match, but has like a mental breakdown or something in it. Or they use the Rumble match to leverage her frame of mind. I don't know. I'm overthinking it. I'm trying to write for him. But
right.
You're probably right. It's going to take several sessions, or at least it should, to be realistic. But I think maybe they use the Rumble as a catalyst for it, because you're right. They are deprived of women right now to fill this match. They don't have the talent in company right now to get these women in the match. We know that because of what they've already released to the public. I think they still put her in the match. I think it's just going to be she has a mental breakdown or she's eliminated very quickly, and they use that to their advantage or something. I don't know. Again, writing it for the WWE and overthinking it, because they're obviously not going down that route.
Not at all. SmackDown, the Usos first one out, and they got cheers like they are not even associated with the Bloodline anymore. That
they
crowd
really did.
Was fucking hot for them. Hyped for them.
Yeah.
The only reason why I knew they were still part of the Bloodline, they had shirts on.
True.
I thought there was a face turn somewhere on the old interweb that we did not see. Because they were joking and fun and did it. I'm like, oh wow, we got the new Usos back again for the big show's time.
Is it to make them? I don't know what it is, because maybe it's just beating the New Day makes you a face again.
Oh.
I don't know. You just get so happy that you beat the New Day that it's just over at that point.
They announce 4 competing teams to be the number 1 contenders, and let me go through these teams. Jinder and Shanky, not happening. Angel and Humberto, better not happen. Cesaro and Mansoor, they've just met in the ring that night, not gonna happen. Oh, then they announce the Viking Raiders. Oh yeah, there's your number 1 contenders. Just because they're a goddamn team. That's the only reason why they won.
A side note, I hate what they've done to Viking Raiders.
Yeah.
They're such a so good team. But yeah, there was nobody else. There is nobody else. I mean, it's the plague of the tag team division within WWE. They throw people together, or they don't have enough teams. They didn't build it outside of New Day and Usos. That's why they keep going back to that well every year, because they don't have the teams to support the tag team division. They throw them together, but they don't build them up. AEW, again, we're comparing again, but they have all the tag teams. They're built up. They think they're formidable opponents. Do you know that they're not going to win? Yeah, probably. But it's at least a fun match. Like with the Viking Raiders, I can't see Eric and Ivar winning, and that's a shame, because they should have been built up that they would win.
They should have never been fucking Vikings. War Machine was incredible.
Machine was amazing. Yeah, agreed with that.
Yeah. Skipping quick, Naomi and Sonya thing. I just get it over with. God for damn, just please get a match of some sort, because this is on way too long. The Sami Zayn being jackass until Shinsuke and Rick Boogs came out was fucking money. I almost thought for a second he was at least going to go down the ramp and just teeter over and whatever.
Oh, I thought he was crashing into the ring.
I loved it. Lita being in the ring, I'm going to skip because these are the two that I like. Lita being in the ring, talking to Elsa Flair. You got it? Yeah.
Let it go.
Let it go. All right. I love that. I almost think maybe I want Flair to pick Lita for the WrestleMania moment now. So maybe Flair does win. So my head's just spinning. I'm all good with that. What do you have to say about those two? Because the next one I'm going to shit on wholeheartedly.
Sami Zayn, the man can do no wrong.
I know.
Let's be honest. And I wrote down the line that he said, when it comes to being a jackass, no one is better than Sami Zayn. And then he stopped and like looked around like he didn't mean it that way. That cracked me up.
Right.
Sami Zayn, it was the stupidest thing. You probably could have assumed that he wasn't going to do it, but at one point I thought he was going to at least crash into the ring.
Right.
And then I didn't like Shinsuke and Boogs at the end of it coming out. I was kind of hoping like maybe Knoxville was going to show up or some bullshit.
That would make sense, wouldn't it?
It would make sense. Although, how about Rick Boogs looking like a circus strongman now?
Yeah.
From, like the vaudeville days. He just looks like a freaking circus act.
This is going to sound horrible. But Pat said he is Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
Did he get some facial done? Because he had a very heavy facial of Freddie Mercury that I've not seen before. Like, he had the whole... I'm like, oh my God, he actually looks like Freddie Mercury now.
He kind of... It looks like they did it in a way that he looked like Freddie Mercury.
They must have had a filter, a TikTok filter or something on him.
They had to have done something because, yeah, he looked kind of like that, and it was a little weird. Yeah, I have no idea what was going on with that. All I know is after I saw that, I started thinking, man, he just looks like a freaking strongman from like vaudeville days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he needs to drop the guitar thing and get rid of Shinsuke, and I could get behind him, but yeah.
Until then.
Lita
and Elsa was fantastic. I thought that was well done. It made me think, oh, maybe Lita could win this. Or even if she doesn't win this, and even if Charlotte doesn't win this, is that the WrestleMania program? I mean, we did have Trish versus Charlotte, so why not Lita versus Charlotte? So I think it put a lot of questions in people's minds, and it's helped building up the Rumble back up and taking away the surprises. So I like those two.
I've never been a full-fledged Natty fan. Okay?
Yeah.
Nothing against her. She's amazing. I've never gotten behind her, and it's probably WWE's fault.
Right.
Now her gimmick is carrying around this stupid Guinness Book of World Records and whatever. Okay, fine and dandy. So her and Aaliyah have a match, and this pisses me off. Literally pisses me off. She wins, and it pisses me off in two ways. She wins in 3.17 seconds or whatever. Okay. So how are we going to sell ever in the life of wrestling again that there's going to be a faster match than this? So this is going to be the Guinness Book of World Records fastest match until the world fucking implodes. It meant more when Uncle Elmer had it at 9 seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's number one. That this pisses me off. Unless as soon as the bell rings, somebody gets somebody in like an armbar and they tap out. Now it's in 2 seconds, which now it's not even a legit match. So I was royally pissed. Okay, so then if you're going to go this way, WWE, why not make it 3.16 seconds to reference fucking Stone Cold as well? Because maybe down the line, you could build a story off of this. No, we're going to say 3.17 seconds. Get your fucking numbers right. It was there. It's a goddamn storyline. There's no way he counted as 3 in legit 3 seconds. It doesn't happen.
Oh, God, no.
No.
No, he didn't make it to the mat until like 3 seconds into it.
Yeah, whatever. It's in your history. The numbers, anytime you say 316, I'm sorry. Yeah, I know John 3:6 in the Bible, yes, and all that, but in wrestling terms, anybody comes up that says 316, what the fuck are you thinking about, Jenks? Stone Cold Steve Austin in WWE. There it is.
Yeah.
There.
Maybe that's why they didn't do 316.
But it's an homage. At least it's a reference that people would get excited for.
Yeah.
Besides this week, I'm not going to remember 317. Nor do I want to or care.
All right, fair enough.
So then fucking SmackDown pissed me off after that.
Well, so it called into question my thing of Natty beat the holy hell out of her before the match.
Yeah.
And then we're just supposed to believe Aaliyah's going to hold Natty down after she was beat up for 3 seconds.
Yeah.
I can't buy that logic.
Yeah.
That logic I can't buy. That's where I got pissed off because I'm like, I don't buy what you're selling at this point in time. Yeah, you're right. The numbers were there. And honestly, I hadn't even thought about that until you brought it up. But you just had Natty spend a minute and a half beating the shit out of Aaliyah. And now Aaliyah rolls her up within 3 seconds. I'm sorry. I can't believe that. You're not selling what Natty just did to her. So I think that further diminishes what Natty does in the ring.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't get it.
Kofi's taken King's spot in the Rumble, and Madcap beats him. Whatever. If you want to say anything about that, and then we get the face-to-face with Seth and Roman. I like that he tried to get the little Shield reference.
Yeah,
doesn't happen.
That was nice. Roman taking the shot at he'd rather face Becky than Seth was pretty.
That was pretty nice.
That was a nice little touch to it. I mean, I would actually pay to see Roman versus Becky, to be honest, but that's just me.
Okay.
But I think that would be hilarious. Not hilarious, but I think that would actually be a fun match. But that's a different story. Just watch him go back and forth on the mic. But I love that Seth has taken on the I'm your creator and I will destroy you role with this type thing because he played up the architect for years and years. But is anybody buying that Seth's the legitimate threat?
Nope.
And it's legitimately going to take the title?
Nope.
No.
Nope. Not at all. Which now leads me to another question, Sir Michael Jenks. Maybe it's just my mic that needs tightening up. I'm thinking it's that. Maybe the cold unscrewed some of my screws, because that's what's wiggling over here. It has also been leaked that there may be some men opening the door into the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
One has been a Dean Ambrose, Johnny Moxley.
Yeah.
I'm going to name some names, and we can rewind to them. I don't think it's going to be anybody AEW. I mean, Moxley is AEW, but they're saying Jericho. They're saying some other AEW people. I don't think it's AEW, and Moxley included. I think if anybody is opening that door, hey, this is a Royal Rumble WWE Impact kind of presentation. Do we get a Cardona? Do we get a Morrissey? Do we get a Moose? Do we get Brian Myers? Do we, people like that? What are your thoughts?
I would say the only shot AEW has to join the Forbidden Door is Jericho. I say that because they've already done the Stone Cold podcast with Jericho. There's been rumors that they've been working with Tony Khan over another deal. I don't know if you've seen that, but there's been talks with Tony Khan. I'm assuming maybe that ties into the Rumble. I don't think we see anybody outside of WWE past coming into this match.
Via AEW.
Via AEW or Impact.
So you don't think a Moose?
I don't think a Moose and Impact. Could I see a Morrissey or a Cardona? Sure. As their old personas. Because Mickie James is coming back again. She uses that ring name. So, but they're going to have to come back as their old personas to enter this match.
Right.
And I just feel like I don't think WWE would go and get those bigger name talents. I think they just stick with their past. So I think I could see a Jericho. I could see a Cardona. Do we see a Jonah? Probably not.
No, that's too fresh, I think.
That's too fresh. But people that have had history in that company that people would pop over, that would be what we see in this Rumble. So maybe I make a prediction Jericho shows up. Or do I think Dean Ambrose comes? No. Because I think he would want to keep Jon Moxley as his name. And I don't think they would let him.
I wouldn't see Dean Ambrose in the Rumble. I could see Dean Ambrose maybe in that main event or whenever the hell it's on the card. I can't imagine it's going to be the main event. I would have to think it's going to be Brock and Bob, if not Men's Royal Rumble.
Right.
But the Men's Royal Rumble, not shaping up to be anything special. Like, at the people that have been mentioned, I want Johnny Knoxville to win right now. Because I don't want Mansoor to win. Nothing against Kofi. He's going to have his spots of hand tricks and jumping and jiving and doing all that. I don't know. There's nobody in the Men's Rumble that are like, yeah, where there's a fucking list in the Women's Rumble that I want to win, and I could give you points, and we're going to do that next week.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
So far for the Men's Rumble, outside of AJ and Big E and maybe Sammy, it's filler.
Oh, is it ever?
You know what? I'm going to backtrack. Sammy, he's there for whatever he's doing with Knoxville. Something's happening with Knoxville there.
Yeah, and he's getting a Mania match. That's the Mania match of the celebrity.
Yep. So, whatever. So, outside of AJ and Big E, whoever's been announced is filler for the Rumble match. So, we still have big names to come. But I'm not excited right now.
No.
I can't be. To your point, the women's, hell yeah, we're excited. And maybe this was their point by announcing all these people, because now we're excited to see all of these legends come back and fight in this match. But yeah, I mean, the Rumble's building back up for me, but it's not where it has been in years past.
No. Would you be happier to see, and I know it's not going to be him, but the Iron Sheik shuffle out, or Bushwhacker Luke, or Santino, to get the nostalgia Rumble without, the announcements of, these so-called legends? Maybe Glacier can come out, or Outback Jack, or somebody like that. I'd pop, but they're not going to win.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the fun in the Rumble, is when you have those nostalgia guys, they're there just to get the pop. And to pop you because they surprised and they show up. I mean, that's why the Boogeyman has shown up 2-3 times over the years.
50
just randomly.
Yeah.
So it's there to get the pop, to get the cheap laugh. Okay, they're gone in like a minute or whatnot. That's the fun of the Rumble, is to have those. I would love to see somebody of a joke mentality. I don't know who you could pull right now to do that. That's been there and been released or has walked away. It would probably be Santino at this point. We did get Santina in the Rumble.
Yeah.
So we could get Santino in the Rumble.
Oh, boy. The men's isn't shaping up to be what it was.
No, it's not.
All right, Jenks, do you have anything else WWE related? Because we have a lot of people popping up in AEW this week. During Dynamite, there was running all over the place.
It was absolute chaos in AEW. I got nothing else WWE related.
All right, here's our break. We come back. We're going to end the show with AEW.
Hey guys, this is Olivia Vegas, and I am the fashionista of fame from OKC, and you're listening to Can Crushers.
Welcome back, Can Crusher Nation, to the podcast.
Wow.
Yeah, like that came up a bit.
No. Welcome back. You were so not happy.
I'm trying not to cough at the same time, so that happens.
See, in a couple weeks, you'll learn how to do that.
Yeah.
From the spotlight, your cockles will be good to go.
I am now writing down when that spotlight's coming out, in a couple of weeks, just so I can learn to get my cockles up and running properly.
That will be on the 26th.
I wrote it down.
Written.
I'm writing it down now. Cockle prep.
I hope your girlfriend sees that.
It's on the office calendar. Maybe not. We'll see what happens.
So during my cockle prep on that podcast interview that I had, I tried a new drink this week. Because you always know I drink during my spotlights. They're definitely after work. They're usually later on in the evening. And I was been suspect about them because I was on the whole seltzers hardcore during the main parts of pandemic. So Cal brings home the Bud Light soda seltzers, Coke, cherry, and they're cola, cherry cola, orange, and citrus. Wow. They can, you don't taste seltzer at all. It's straight up pop with alcohol in it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
They're delicious. So Mark.
So they're soda seltzers? Okay.
Yeah,
I just wanted to validate what it was. Okay. Yeah. Go for it.
So Mark thinks, I like 7 and 7s, which is 7-Up and Seagram 7.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now I have these Bud Light seltzers, which are about 5% alcohol, and Seagram 7, which everybody knows how much alcohol that is. I don't have it right in front of me, but it's an ample amount of alcohol. Why not mix these two? It's 7 and 7, right? Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
They are delicious, by the way.
Delicious and dangerous?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. All right. Starting Dynamite, Jenks, is the Elite Era. And it's only the Elite Era, not the Super Click Elite Era.
Yeah, interesting enough.
But the Young Bucks come out real quick, and okay, we're setting up for matches this week, and I'm really excited for matches this week on Dynamite. I am. Mixed tag team match, this, that, and the other thing. I'm going to say it now because I wrote it during Rampage, and we can just combine whatever. Why doesn't Britt have her title with her this week? Did she lose it? Not like in storyline. Why? Maybe for the Dynamite time I can see because she ran down to stop Statlander from doing anything. Hello, there's Britt's next opponent for a while. Good call, Cody, because, or was it you? One of you made a prediction that Statlander's going to be around real quick, and she is.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be January around, but
right.
My big bitch is, why is Britt not carrying a goddamn title? Is she trying not to overshadow Adam and the boys? And that's a legit question. Like, hey, they're their big guys right now. But the Doctor's truly the biggest woman. And are we playing that game? Like, this is legit. Like, why doesn't she have her title? Definitely on Friday night, because all she was doing is standing outside the ring.
Oh, yeah. And they got physical, I think, towards the end, but it wasn't anything. She could have definitely had her title and, like, ripped it off and attacked. But that is a great point. And you would think that you would want DMD with the title if she's a part of this group now.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you want that high value? Now you have a title holder within this group. Whatever this era group is, you have a title holder within it. I think you're right that they didn't want her overshadowing the boys. I don't know. In my opinion, Britt Baker is, I think we talked about this, even though Punk mentioned it before, is a pillar to your organization. I feel like you would want the title shown and showcased in that scenario. But to play a little devil's advocate, Mark, is it because it was not a female-centric storyline? Is that why they didn't showcase it there?
To me, it doesn't matter. Like
it doesn't matter to me either, but would that be the case?
Possibly. But you're setting it up with Statlander. So, okay, Again, Wednesday, she runs in to make the saves and get the kiss from Adam. All fine and dandy. Friday, when you come out, just hanging around, yeah, you might get into some, fisticuffs. Drop it on the floor. Hand it to your best friend, Tony. Do whatever you need to.
Mm-hmm.
You need to wear it out. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It boggled my. I don't know why I noticed stupid stuff like that, but I'm like, Britt didn't have her title on. She wore her Chelsea green jacket that she got during Chelsea's wedding that has Baker written on the back and her picture and all that. Cool, but she didn't wear the title. Maybe she was just shouting out to Chelsea then, saying, "Hey, this is bigger than the AEW title."
Maybe. I don't know. I just feel like you would want to have that title at least noticed.
Yeah.
In that scenario, but
so WWE drops a little bit, or other people dropped that, Wardlow's being looked at by the WWE, and it dropped on Tuesday saying, hey, Wardlow's contract might be coming up. He would fit in good at WWE. A lot of people chimed in. And then Wardlow comes in and faces Punk. Yes, he loses the match, and that's all fine and dandy. It's all part of the storyline. I love the storyline right now for 2022. It's carrying me. But essentially, Wardlow carried this match. And I think when he walked out, pissed off at MJF, that walk, to me, solidified he's not going anywhere because he is the pillar to come in AEW.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's exactly what I took away from that. Wardlow carried the match. He did everything in the match. He looked like $1 million. Yes, he lost on a roll-up. And you can argue that for days. But
it was MJF's fault.
Yeah, it was MJF's fault. Exactly. It wasn't like he cleanly lost the thing. MJF cost it. I think this just basically put Wardlow in another stratosphere, and it even doubled down to when he actually does turn fully on MJF. That pop is going to be so freaking loud.
Yeah,
it's going to be, the fans are eating up Wardlow now, squashing people left and right. I'm surprised Punk was another victim. Let's be honest, he was another victim that barely escaped by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah,
and this, to me, the match shocked me in the sense that they put Punk was squashed.
Dead.
He was dead to rights. It was a last-ditch desperation effort to beat him to get to 10-0, and he did it. So that's what you want to see with your veteran talent that comes in to put over new guys. Even if they win, they do that. Punk just sat there and took a ass whipping like no other, and made Wardlow look like the $1 million that he is, and put him on a path to success, or even further down that path that he was already on.
No disrespect to Shawn Spears. He's not going to get the win this week either, but Punk is going to take another ass beating. Punk's going to be 11-0, heading towards MJF. But the chair is going, I think Punk is going to be laid to waste again. I really do. And I think this is, Wardlow will help out a little bit and beat down Punk. But then, I know Wardlow, and I hate to say this, but here's the fourth wall. He's got compassion. And they're selling that he's got compassion in the ring now, too. He's one of the nicest guys in wrestling I've ever met. He really is. Shout out to Mama Wardlow, who yelled at Wardlow because he scared the kids at one point, and he was told never to do that to kids. So that's awesome. But he's a great guy. And I love how they're getting his real name into the Wardlow character now, that 3 power bombs and he knows you're done. Well, 5, 6, and he's like, dude, I don't need this. All I need to do is step on him and pin his ass. Do another one. Punk, a crafty veteran. I don't know where he got any energy from to hold down the big man, but it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, this is... Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it makes sense. I was going to whisper it again.
Fair enough. This is the perfect example of that roll-up after getting an ass whooping makes sense. With Natty and Aaliyah, that did not make sense.
Right.
They built up... See, your Punk has, like you said, that crafty veteran experience. I did not draw this parallel at the time, but I saw somebody compare it, and it made me kind of fall in love with how the ending transpired again. This was a similar end to what you saw in Diesel versus Bret Hart for the title back in '95, when he powerbombed Bret. Bret could barely stand. He was going to do another jackknife, and Bret just rolled him up for the pin. So the parallel there at the end was a nice little sweet touch. This was a more nostalgia kick for me. Sorry about this, but I had to go there.
No, that makes sense.
But,
yeah.
Yeah, just knowing that throughout history. But to go back to it, this is perfect example of when that makes sense to do the roll up to get the win, because it's your crafty veteran knows he only has one shot at this and he can catch him by surprise. So he did it. Was he playing possum? I don't think he was playing possum. I think he was
playing dead.
He was playing dead. He was dead to rights. And I think he just took one last shot to pin Wardlow. Wardlow, when the compassions, I think you're right. I think it comes a little more to the head next week because Spears, I don't think that match is ending with a pinfall.
No.
I think it's going to be a disqualification. It's going to be Spears with the chair.
Yes.
They're going to order Wardlow with a power bomb. I think Wardlow walks away.
I do too. I
doesn't
do
do
too. Yep. Next match was Hobbs against Dante Martin. Same bitch that I had during Impact. You gave us the same story in back-to-back matches. It was legit the same. You know, not the young, not the old veteran. These guys are two young guys, but essentially Hobbs beating the mother trucker out of Dante Martin. Yet Martin gets, the stroke over essentially at the end of the thing with Lethal coming out and all of that. I'm all right with the storyline between these two because of that. You have another hour and a half to go on your card. Don't put them back to back. It legit was back to back, and I wasn't happy about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Lethal coming out against Ricky Starks. What we talked about probably a week or two ago, this is the perfect person. Starks loses to the Lethal, and then guess who he's got to go against because he took a shot at his dad. Hook gets that FTW title back from Jay Lethal then.
Lethal, yep. They're going to send Hook. Yeah, I'm excited for that match when it does come to a head. I love that is being set up. So, oh man. So do you think Hook gets it soon, or do you think they kind of play this out a couple weeks? Maybe Revolution.
Yeah.
They send Hook. Okay.
Yeah.
What a notch in your belt. Your first pay-per-view match, you beat Jay Lethal.
Yeah.
For a title.
You
want to
pretty
talk
awesome.
About strapping some rockets to somebody. That's it. That's going to be impressive.
Rocket Man. Elton John might even be there.
He might.
Inner Circle. I mean, there's a whole bunch of Inner Circle now entwined in this. They get Faction of the Year. Kingston comes out. Him and Jericho push their own buttons. Santana, Ortiz, and Hager walk off. And I don't believe that nobody knows what GFY means. I know what it means.
I know what it means, and I don't know a lot of terminology, so that was kind of surprising.
Yeah, so I want you guys to do your homework to figure out what GFY means. If you know, you know.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
But I want this to come to a head. Sorry.
Yeah, it's almost there. I feel like end of Rampage it kind of did without getting too far ahead. But when does it blow to fisticuffs? When does it get to that point? And what's the end goal? Because we know something's going down with Santana, Ortiz, Hager. The Inner Circle's breaking up somehow.
Yep.
Because Eddie Kingston threw out there to Santana and Ortiz, you would be champion right now if it wasn't for this guy. He said it verbatim.
Yeah.
So now he's planted that seed. They're going to start thinking about it. Sammy Guevara, he's probably already been thinking about it. He's the interim TNT champion. Now I'm also thinking
now that Cody's coming back next week.
Yeah.
Why? I don't understand why only for 2 weeks. Did they think he was going to be off longer? Oh, like that's stupid. Sorry.
That was stupid, but I also think maybe they did it because I feel like Kingston and Jericho are going to be involved in that match somehow because Garcia and 2.0 are going to threaten the match. And it's going to cost Sammy the match. And maybe I'm not thinking about this in the right light, but I think it's going to cost Sammy the match, and we start seeing the inner circle fall even further apart. Because if you think about it, Sammy right now was not a part of this whole thing, and they ended up in the Rampage during his match with Garcia, not on Rampage, but on Dynamite. They ended up in his match or in that area.
Right.
So
my big beef with all this is, like, this story has been going on for legit 2 months now. Could it have happened in Sammy's first go-around with the title? To have Cody win it, Cody drop it, Cody not have it, bring Cody back, where's Cody going type of thing?
I have no idea why they even give it to Cody in the first place. I feel like they could have told this story. I just don't know why they dropped it to Cody on Christmas night. I don't get that part. And that's why I always thought, that's why I think I said last week, maybe it was to promote the Go Big show.
That's the only reason.
Yeah.
Hangman's in the ring with the greatest Smokey the Bear fucking t-shirt on in the world.
I was trying to find that. I want to find that Smokey the Bear t-shirt. That was fantastic.
I do too. Oh my God. I was wondering where Hangman was going. I like this. I like that it's Archer. I think Archer's just a stepping stone now. I really do. But even a one-off with Archer, it's a different feud than what he just had with Bryan Danielson.
Yeah. Where Bryan Danielson, it was a wrestling talent, wrestling brutality. This one is just straight brutality. It's just going to be a straight-up brawl to the finish. So it's a different style for Hangman to help put him over. But you're right. Archer's a stepping stone at this point. But, God, what a hell of a stepping stone you have to go over to get there. Also, why the hell was Huskus Pig out there?
I didn't want to bring him up because I know you didn't want to talk about him this week, but you bring him up.
I have to, because the first thing I thought is, why is he out here with Paige? And then when Archer came out, I'm like, why the hell was he out here with Paige again? And I don't get what Lambert's deal is with this, and I'm hoping they're not aligning Archer with Lambert.
Well, it's been a while since we've seen Jake the Snake. Is he essentially gone? I know he was sick for a while, or took time off because of the whole COVID was starting back up and blah, blah, blah. But, like, is he done? Is he gone now? And now Archer doesn't need Huskus. He does not.
No. Archer is a monster and a menace in his own right.
And he can speak.
Yeah, he can speak very well. There's no point for Lambert to be involved in this.
The next thing, I could give two shits about the match next week, but hopefully this forwards the storyline that we get to see Tully Blanchard against Arn Anderson. FTR against Brock and Johnson does nothing for me.
No, that's going to be a glorified squash for FTR, I feel like. That's going to be a nice little further. Do we get Arn and Tully? Are we going to fight? Are they just going to start a new Horseman? Is that going to happen?
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think they can call it the Four Horsemen, but they can. Is that where this is trending towards? But that would require, I think, a turn by Arn to turn against the Nightmare Family.
Yeah. And then it would also mean that FTR needs to drop from the Pinnacle as well, which essentially that's happening as well, because if Wardlow's going to go, Sean Spears is going to be left on his own as well, because MJF's going to have to battle everybody at some point.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So I think the Pinnacle's going away. We got to be moving towards something new. And I think FTR is going to be in the center of it.
Sheeta and Deeb do everything right. That's all I wrote on this. I didn't want a match. There kind of was pseudo a match, but the story of all of this was Deeb just beating the piss out of doctors, referees, people coming out from all over the place. This is the best second story in wrestling right now, I think.
Agreed. This was, I put on here, it's a squash match. That was a fantastic squash match because they can do everything right. They sold the knee, Deeb put it over, and how you would never think if they did this in like WWE or anything, or even in AEW before, you would never think that a match was this their fourth or fifth match that turned out to be a squash match would be fantastic storytelling.
Yeah.
But it does because it furthers their story. It changes up what has been a very literal back and forth between these two women. It made sense that Deeb would attack Shida. We're going to get something out of this. The kendo stick got involved now. So there's going to be an even bigger blow-off match at some point down the line. I could even see Shida attacking Deeb.
I do too now.
At some point.
I do now, yeah.
Yeah.
In a week or two, once her leg's healthy. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
I was wondering why the hell we were getting Hardy and Penta, because I'm like, I don't know where this is coming from. But a king shows up at the tail end.
It was all about the king that showed up. I was very happy to see that. And I'm still thinking he was supposed to come
last week
at the end of the tag. Yeah, at the end of the tag title match.
Yeah.
But that's perfectly fine. I think they did it well. For some reason, I still feel like the Varsity Blondes, even though they're not a major player or anything like that, I feel like Julia Hart is going to join the House of Black.
Yeah, because holy shit, she's still selling the mist. I mean, Muda's mist was the strongest mist in the life of any wrestling, she's still blind. I have to believe that because the patch is also black, where Julia she's a goddamn cheerleader. So she wears colors and everything, but the patch is it's black. She's going.
Well, and so let's take it back a little bit. So in Black's promo announcing you were formerly a king, obviously we now know it was reference to Brody King. In that promo package, he missed him to transform him into the House of Black. That was part of the ritual. I think that's the storytelling being happening with Julia Hart. And you're right. The black patch stands out against everything that she has worn or done before.
Does she get it one more time?
I think so.
I think so too.
I think there's going to be a Brody. I think it's going to be Brody King in Malachi versus the Varsity Blondes, obviously as a squash. And that's when he does it again. And that's when she fully turns.
And then we get another match where they try to win her back, and she's the one that actually shits on them. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
I can't remember where this promo came in, but Pac's promo.
It was amazing. It was after the next baloney that I'm going to talk to you about.
All right.
But let's skip it. Go right to Pac because that told a lot. Pac is so good. Yeah.
That was unreal.
So much better than not Aaron Neville. He was the country singer or whatever.
Yeah.
You know who I
Neville.
meant. Yeah,
Adrian Neville.
Yeah, Adrian
Superhero Neville. Oh my God. But so telling and so good. I can't exactly remember the line because I didn't write it down. But it was something along the lines of, I can't see, but now I see fully, or something along those lines. God, that hit hard.
Yeah.
He delivers, when he speaks, he delivers it in such a way, it tells a story that enthralls you, and the visuals around it. Do I think he's not going to, yes, he got misted too. He's not going to join the House of Black, but I think it told the story that he was blinded by this.
The light. He was blinded by the light.
The light. It's just unreal. It was beautifully done.
So the next match that we're going to talk about is the Acclaim against Bear Country, but I don't care. So I will ask you this. Is Sting going to be a tag team champion in 2022?
Maybe.
Yes.
You think so?
Yes. I don't know.
Who's he?
I don't know. Him and Darby, clearly. Him and Darby. But
Yeah.
who they take it off of, I don't know. I don't know.
They could be the ones to beat Jurassic Express. But if they become tag champs, I don't think it's that long. They
No.
hold them.
No.
I think it's a quick turnaround, but I don't know who would take it off of them.
Anybody. But I think
Anybody they
before
wanna get
Sting
the-
leaves, he has a title. And
Yeah.
it's not going to be anywhere near a heavyweight title.
No, God, no.
And I think the TNT title essentially is, no disrespect, it's their mid-card type of deal thing, and it's a rising star, and it's there. He can't keep up with a Sammy, or he can't, if we're going to go that way. So he gets a stroke by getting the tag team titles.
Yeah, and I think whoever takes it off of them is to A, launch them
Yep.
into success because it gives them the rub of beating Sting, or B, it's FTR. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
It's either FTR or it's to catapult some other team into the stratosphere.
Yeah.
Because I just don't see. Well, maybe it could be Penta and Phoenix whenever he's ready. Phoenix whenever he's ready to come back. They could take it, but I don't see it being that way.
No, I don't see. They had their little one for a while.
Yeah, it could be Santana and Ortiz. Who knows?
I hope. I don't know how we get there, but that's why I like AEW.
Well, I mean, if the inner circle breaks up, and all of a sudden they skyrocket their career, things happen.
We kind of talked about the Guevara match with Garcia. Essentially, Cody's coming back, 2.0 attacks. Everybody just is there, setting up Kingston and the implosion of Inner Circle.
Yeah, the match overall I thought was fantastic.
Was.
Without the other, I mean, I jumped out of my seat when he caught Sammy in mid flip and put him in a backbreaker.
Yes,
That was
one of the
just
only notes I
sick.
had on that. Yeah,
Yeah, that and then the wrench back on the Scorpion Deathlock looked terrible, or like terrible in a good way. It just looked like it hurt like hell. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, this was the storyline of Jericho, Kingston 2.0 and whatnot. These two guys had a good match outside of that. I wish it would have been a clean end, but I guess this works. I mean, it was clean in a sense, but I wish there wasn't as much involvement as there was.
agreed. Rampage, we have the continuing storyline between Adam Cole, Super Click, Super Elite, and Best Friends. Essentially, I think we talked about that enough. Like Adam Cole gets a win, yeah.
Yep.
I love the package between Thunder Rosa and my cousin. By the way, if you have not noticed, so late in the show, I did get my favorite cousin's tattoo on my arm this week. Another one is on there as well. Just can't do that reveal yet because it's not fully done. It'll be coming though. Give it some time. But I did get my cousin's M tattoo, Mercedes, on my arm. Still waiting for my Thunder Rosa one. They're doing some pretty sweet ass work for that. So there's a spoiler that Thunder Rosa is coming.
Yeah, okay. You're just laying all the spoilers out here.
I am. Did you like the package though? I did.
I did. I love the package. That was beautifully done. AEW has done some tremendous things just building up matches with their video packages. And it's not like WWE has done like the promos before matches. They've had that down pat. But this is like telling a story with these video packages and it not feeling generic, or it just feels organic in the way they build them out. I love everything they do with this. And this was another example of that. Now I'm more hyped to see this match whenever it comes to a head.
Yeah, I listened to this week. Shout out to Renee Paquette and her oral sessions or whatever the hell her podcast is. I listened to both episodes when she had on Thunder Rosa. By the way, an amazing story. If you don't know Thunder's story about getting into professional wrestling, go listen to that. But then Renee had my cousin on as well and talked about her story, kind of her release from the WWE. So I was definitely in the mood for this. We all knew it was coming to a head at some point, so just AEW furthering this along. Listen to both of those podcasts. They're about an hour long. Epic. Those two, besides Britt, are stealing things in the world. And Deeb and she, I mean, shout out. The AEW women's division right now is carrying it for me. Just, yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
Spears against Andrew Everett. Wardlow's just there. He doesn't really want to be. Quick and easy match. It still, as minute as it is, it's still part of the MJF storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was it, and then he kind of promo on Punk to further that, and it was what it was. It was a match to put over the match on Wednesday that's coming up.
Next match, the women's trio match. I understand they're getting Stat on TV some more, but she's got her own little beef with Layla Hirsch. So is Stat going to be pushed now to take on Britt, or is this whole one-off with her in the mixed tag? Like, this added more cobwebs to my head, because I don't think Stat is ready to have two ongoing storylines at once. So maybe after the Britt mixed tag, her and Layla are going to have a story for a little bit longer time.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. I feel like they're just, the Britt extension is to help further cement her with Adam Cole and that team like it needs it, but just to get her involved in the match with them. And then she goes back to what this build up with Layla Hirsch is. At some point, those two are going to have to go to a head and actually face each other. So I think in the long run, it was legit to just put it over, no pun intended.
It was.
I just realized that I said that.
It
was legit.
Stopped and looked at the mic. I'm like,
So, yeah, it legit. They're putting Britt and Adam together to just establish a base there. I think next week, and then she goes back to this Layla Hirsch storyline.
I think one of these shows we have to have a list of songs that we have to try getting them in, not by just forcing them in. Like, I used Blinded by the Light for Pac, and now you just use Too Legit to fucking quit. Yeah. So we have to. That should work next week. That's your homework, by the way.
I'll figure it out.
Okay.
Give me I'll work it in.
You're good at that. You're a lot better than I am, so I'm going to have to search for some.
I get a lot of credit. I get a lot of practice working in jokes into my 40-year dash update, so
yeah,
I can handle this. Can I also say Penelope Ford made me feel really old, because the way they bent her to get into that spider crab during this match, I felt every spine disc pop in my back. Like that was insane.
In the membrane.
In the membrane, yeah. But oh god, props to her. Jesus Christ, that made me feel real old. I'm like, I would have died.
Yeah, I know.
But
and then we already talked about Ricky Starks. I thought it actually happened on Dynamite. Here it happens on Rampage, so we can skim over that. Jurassic Express against Johnny Hungy and Reynolds was... I wasn't sure at first. I'm like, oh, this is going to be our main event? And I'm like, holy piss, this is our main event? I loved it. I wanted Hungy to win. I did.
I did too. Every time they sleep on Hungy and Silver, they blow it out of the goddamn water. Like, this was so good. My God, there's so much to say about it. Also, there was a 3 count in there. I thought Hungy won.
I did too. I was waiting because I didn't know if that was your bitch if that was going to be
It
your
was going to
bitch.
be my bitch. It was going to be my bitch. I was working up to it. God damn it. He won the fucking match. I
did.
jumped off my couch and go, is that a 3? And they're like, no, it's a 2. And I'm like, that was the closest 3 count I think I've ever seen in my
because
life.
it was a 3 count.
It was a 3 count. But if they're going to call it not a 3 count, it's the closest goddamn 3 count I've ever seen in my life.
Was it faster than 3.16 seconds?
I think you know what? I think it was just shy of that.
Oh.
It broke the record.
3.15.
The record's 3.17, so 3.16 would have broke it.
Right.
Yeah.
But you doubled down with 3.15.
You know what? I did.
Whew.
I did what I did. But, oh my God. They were really good. Also, this week I really enjoyed Jericho and Taz on commentary. And
I
Ricky
did too.
Starks.
I did too.
Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're good. And sometimes they kind of get on the nerves a little bit. But this week they were really good on commentary.
Taz being called out by Jay Lethal was good. Was really good. Like,
yeah,
we broke it down and we think Hook's going to be it. And I think that is a major feeding point. Taz does what he needs to do. You know, sometimes he mixes it up, but he is so good on the mic. Like, back to WWEF days when he was on the mic. He fits. And you're right, him and Jericho are great.
Yep. So Lethal dropping the daddy line, not with Hook, but with
Starks.
I don't know why I lost his name for a second there in my mind, but him dropping the daddy line was beautifully done because it's a title shtick. It's going to be a title shtick when they do it with Hook because people are going to do it with Hook.
Oh, yeah.
But when they did it with Starks, Taz selling that and just being so pissed off with it, that's what people love about Taz. I mean, besides being the human suplex machine and all that, since he's retired, that's what people love about Taz because he will sell and sell hard on the microphone, and it tells a beautiful story, and it tells people that, oh my God, I should be more invested, or I should be, you know what I mean? It helps. It paints the picture, which is, I always hope on good commentary, and that's sometimes I have that problem with WWE because it seems so forced. But when it's done right, like in Taz's case, it just paints that beautiful picture, and it helps the match even further.
It does. It does. From us starting the show saying, it was an okay week, we painted a picture of an amazing week for wrestling across the board.
We did. How about that, Mark? Look we turned this around. We thought it was an okay week, and we turned it into an amazing week. Do we call ourselves Picasso and Rembrandt here?
Sure. Which one do you want to be?
I'll take Rembrandt. Might as well.
Cool. Good.
All right. Yeah, there you go. You're more popular than me, so we'll go with that route.
Am I?
I think, you know, you host a successful podcast.
I'm Huskus. I would be...
I'm the damn rabbit then. All right, go ahead.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention one thing. This coming Saturday, IWC Reloaded is going to take place. All titles on the line against you don't know until you show up. It will be on the IWC network for only $9.99 a month, or you could buy just the event for, I think it's like $15. So make sure you check that out. Some of us will be in attendance. This is my favorite, pay-per-view for IWC because people from Sandman to Al Snow, Britt showed up when she was already with AEW. The Godwins, James Ellsworth. Yeah, you don't know. The reset button can bring in anybody, and it's amazing that everybody is waiting to be called, Jenks. That reset button is that fucking powerful.
That's fantastic. I can't wait to check this out.
Yeah.
This week. And
Jenks, another reason why I brought up IWC late is somebody, an old school IWC guy, has gotten cleared to go into professional wrestling again. So, this is me, get ready IWC marks, with the clearing of Corey Graves, and the reset button, and WWE has ties with IWC. That's where Kurt Angle trained for his match back. IWC, do we get Corey Graves at the reset button? And then overall, Jenks, do we get Corey Graves at the Rumble?
I was thinking that almost as a walk-in entrant from the announce table like they've done in the past. Or you could see him at IWC. That could happen. I'm kind of banking on Corey Graves being in the Rumble as a surprise.
Yeah. I think Corey, again, it's been like 7 years, 8 years, 25 years, whatever he's been out. They live in Pittsburgh, him and Carmella. By the way, their show is back on. If you've never listened to Bear With Us between Matt and Leah, which is Corey Graves and Carmella, listen to that. I'm fucking feeding everybody listens. Hopefully they do the same thing to us. It's a good, there's a 16-bit challenge at IWC, which essentially is a battle royal / street fight / anything can happen. That would be the perfect practice for him for a Rumble. I'm just feeding it. I'm feeding it up because I doubt it's going to happen, but it would be awesome.
It would be fantastic.
He's definitely going to be in the Rumble, though. That's stamped for me.
I would be surprised if he wasn't. And I would question things at that point when they're, why release that if he's not going to be in the Rumble?
Right.
What plans do you have for him going forward if he's not in the Rumble? So I'd have questions.
Agreed. Agree wholeheartedly. So, yeah, excited about this next couple of weeks for professional wrestling. AEW's got storylines out the ass that I'm involved with. Royal Rumble, Jenks and I's favorite pay-per-view of the year, WWE side. We'll put it that way because we don't want to poo-poo anything else. But a lot of other cool stuff going on in title match in a couple weeks that we can't wait to watch. So, yeah, it is almost that time where it's Road to WrestleMania, which engulfs all of wrestling. Everything gets better just because it's a Road to WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's that time of year where everything picks up and everything becomes must-watch.
All right, guys, one more time. I know you may have skimmed over it, but we are going to do, if you guys want to, Women's Royal Rumble contest. I want 30 people to get in, $5 a crack. The winner of the Royal Rumble, the Women's Royal Rumble via us, will get a Mandy Rose signed metallic, and you get your number picked at random. So, again, if Moochie wants in, PayPal $5. There's a whole post on the Facebook coming up, so look for that. It'll explain more and more what you need to do, but I have a Mandy Rose waiting to be given away to the winner of the Royal Rumble and your number slot. That was a clap underneath the table, by the way.
I like the sound effects. You got to tell me next time.
Yeah. I got nothing else, Jenks. We're at 2:15 on a week that we thought we had nothing. So, yeah.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Things just happen, man.
There you go. Things happen.
Things happen.
Next week, we are putting the challenge out via the podcast. You don't win anything. You're just going to have to listen to see how many song titles we can get invested into this without freaking forcing them.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I don't know why. You're going to slaughter me, but yeah, let's try.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Hopefully it's not colder than a witch's tit. Jenks, I love you.
It's cold as ice. I love you too.
Just remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things.
It's a garbage can, not a garbage can not.